Yes, look at the whiteboard. Today, no introduction at all. Though, no introduction at all, this sentence itself becomes an introductory sentence. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. There are all these sentences here as you can read. Please watch this video full screen so that you can understand what is written on this whiteboard. Number one, there are less students in the class than usual. Is the meaning clear? I think the meaning is evident to everybody, whoever happens to watch this video. But I tell you, my dear friends, I'm asking you rather, is there any error in this sentence? Any error, any mistake in this sentence? If you can locate the mistake, please don't forget to mention that in the comment box. I tell you now, my dear friends, that there is an error in this sentence. And what is that error? There is an error, but what is the error? There are less students. Here you see the word student. The word student is a countable common noun. And as this word student is a countable common noun, it is, of course, pluralized here by adding an S to the word student. So it has become students. Now, we have used less before this. We know very well, according to the grammar, English grammar, less is used with uncountable common noun or with uncountable noun. But here, the countable common noun is used. So, this less is the mistake. There will be no less. Then what should be used in place of less? In place of less, you have to use fewer. 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 There are fewer students in the class. In the class, or you may say in the classroom, because classroom is better. Classroom than usual. Look at this correct sentence. There are fewer students in the class or classroom than usual. Is it clear to you? So when you are using a countable common noun, do not ever use less before that, because less is used only with uncountable nouns. Okay? So before the countable noun, we have to use fewer, Fewer, in place of less. So the correct sentence, let me read out once again. There are fewer students in the class than usual. Let's move on to number two. And number two is, your brother is more better than you. Apparently a correct sentence, because the meaning is absolutely crystal clear to everybody. Nobody will feel confused as to the meaning of this sentence. Therefore, we may conclude that this sentence is grammatically correct as well. But that conclusion itself will be incorrect, wrong. Why? Because there is an error. Now I will draw your attention to the error, so that you do not make a similar error in the days to come. You look at these two words. Better is a comparative word. Everybody knows that. Good, better, best. So better is a comparative word. More is before that. More itself is a comparative word. As more itself is a comparative word, and better also a comparative word, these two words cannot be married together. They are hostile to each other. They are antagonistic to each other. Because if you write more before better or with better, you will be quite incorrect. So do not ever use more before a comparative word, because two comparative words cannot be used in one sentence or in one clause. So what should be the correct one? Your brother is better than you. Your brother is better than you. Look at this correct sentence here. Your brother is better than you. So is it clear? Now, if you insist that you want to use a word before better, then you may use far, far, far. For example, your brother is far better than you. Not more better. Far better is all right. There is no problem, because far itself is not a comparative word. So if you want, you can use far before better, but do not use more in a sentence of this sort. Let's move on to number three. Number three is, she is suffering from jaundice since 6 days. Going to the doctors, you tell you have gone to the doctors with your sister, and you are telling the doctor she is suffering, or she has been suffering, whatever you like, since 10 days, or since 2 weeks. This is a correct sentence. The doctor will obviously understand what you mean. But if the doctor is well conversed in English, the doctor will feel that you don't know English. And that's why you are saying since 6 days or since 10 days, because since is not used before a number of days, a number of months, a number of weeks, a number of years. Okay? Never use since with a number of days, or with a number of hours also, maybe since 6 hours if you say, then also you are wrong, because here the appropriate preposition to be used is for. So correct one is, she is suffering from jaundice for 6 days, not since 6 days. Look at this correct sentence here. She is suffering from jaundice for 6 days. Now the question is, when can we use, or where can we use since? If since is not appropriate here, then where can I use since? Since I can use only when there is a particular point in time mentioned. For example, since Monday, or since March, since 2023. That's correct, because I'm mentioning a point in time. So she then you have to say that she has been suffering from jaundice since May, since March, or since April. Any point in time you want, you can use it. And another point I will ask you to note. When you are using since, try to make the sentence in the present perfect continuous tense or in the past perfect continuous tense. Since with a present continuous tense sentence is not good rather, because it is incorrect. So whenever you are using since before a point in time, don't forget to make the sentence in either the present perfect continuous tense or in the past perfect continuous tense. For example, I have been waiting for you since 6 o'clock in the morning. I have been waiting for you. Present perfect continuous tense I have used. Why? Because I am going to use the preposition since. So I have made the sentence in the present perfect continuous tense. Since 2 o'clock, I have been waiting for you, or I have been reading this book since 8 o'clock in the morning. I have been reading this book since 8 o'clock in the morning. Present continuous tense. So don't forget it. Okay. If you have any confusion about the use of since and for, then please write down in the comment box, and I shall address your question individually. I assure you, my dear friends. It's my promise. Well, so here you have seen she is suffering from jaundice for 6 days, not since. Number 4. Move on to number 4. There are a lot of peoples in the hall. Say that maybe a movie theater, or maybe some hall for conference. So there we are saying there are many peoples in the conference room. Therefore, I'm waiting outside. It is quite crowded inside. There are many peoples, or there are a lot of peoples in the hall. Now, is there any error in that sentence? Is there any confusion in understanding the meaning of this sentence? I think not, because the meaning is absolutely clear, evident. But I tell you, my dear friends, that there is an error. I'm not gone crazy. I'm not saying that there is an error in a correct sentence. It is an incorrect sentence. Why it's an incorrect sentence? Now listen. Peoples, P-E-O-P-L-E-S written here, but actually we know P-E-O-P-L-E, people itself is a plural. If people itself is a plural, then we cannot add S to people, because this word people itself is a plural, plural noun. Therefore, we cannot use is with people. Now, we cannot say, of course, that there is one people. We cannot say that. Why not? Because it's a plural word. As it's a plural, it will be wrong to say that there is a people. We have to say that there is a person, there is a man, there is a person, but not there is a people. And in the same way, when we are using is with people, that is incorrect. So say, there are a lot of people in the hall. Look at this correct sentence. There are a lot of people in the hall, not peoples. Now the question arises, can we ever say peoples? Can we ever add is to people? Yes, we can. The meaning in that case will be different. When you add is to people, it means nations. Nations. So let's make a sentence. All the peoples of the world. That means all the peoples, all the nations of the world. In this world, there are many nations. So I refer to the nations. That's why I'm adding is to people. I'm saying there are many peoples in this world. All right, clear? If yet not clear, write down in the comment box. There is the comment box for you and me. All right. And also down below you will find my WhatsApp number. So if you want to send your question to me via WhatsApp, it's all right. I will answer your question, my dear. Okay, let's move on to number 5 now. Number 5 is, you need not to tell him anything. I have told him everything. You need not to tell him anything. You need not to tell him anything. Yes, I just tell you, my dear friends, don't misunderstand me. The meaning is absolutely clear, but the construction of the sentence is grammatically incorrect. Why it is grammatically incorrect, I am going to explain to you now. You see, you need not to tell. This to is the mistake. Because after need not or needn't, we do not use the infinitive to. We cannot use. So what should be the correct sentence? You need not tell him anything. You need not tell him anything. Look at this correct sentence here. You need not tell him anything. Not need not to. Why can't you use to after need not? Because needn't is used here as an auxiliary verb. As needn't is an auxiliary verb, and we know very well, after an auxiliary verb, we are not supposed to use to in most cases, except a few. So, when we are not able to use, we are not allowed to use to with an auxiliary verb, we cannot use to after need not or needn't. But when you are using the using the word need only, not need not, this is an affirmative sentence. So you are saying that you need to do this. You need to tell him. That's correct, because their need is not used as an auxiliary verb. Is the matter clear? Let me repeat. You need not, needn't itself is an auxiliary verb, and as it is an auxiliary verb, we cannot use to after this auxiliary verb. So we know very well the formula: subject plus the auxiliary verb plus verb. So you need not tell him anything, and that's why the correct sentence is you need not tell him anything. But when we drop not, not, we use the word need only, then we are allowed to use to, because there in that sentence need is not an auxiliary verb. Okay, let's move on to number 6, and that is the last one for this session. He has seen you, isn't it? Oh, when you are coming to our house, he has seen you. Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? This question tag we often use with any sentence, and that is the mistake. Because when we are using a question tag, always remember you should pay special attention to the subject and the auxiliary verb. If the subject and the auxiliary verb are not noticed by you, are not carefully considered by you, you are likely to walk into such a trap. You are likely to make such a mistake. So here the auxiliary verb is has, and here you see the subject is he, not it. Here written isn't it, as if it is the subject here, but it is nowhere here. It is not the subject. He is the subject and has is the auxiliary verb. And when we make the question tag, we generally make it negative. If the sentence is in the positive, then we make the question tag in the negative. And if the sentence is in the negative, we make the question tag in the positive. So here the correct one is, he has seen you. Hasn't he? Hasn't he? Look at the correct sentence. He has seen you. Hasn't he? You are coming to my house tomorrow, aren't you? Aren't you? Not isn't it? Aren't you? Okay, remember this question tag. When you frame a question tag, you have to take into consideration the subject of the sentence and the auxiliary verb used there. If there is no auxiliary verb, then generally we use the auxiliary verb do or does. If in the negative, then doesn't, and if in the positive, then do or does. Okay, so write a few question tags, make a few question tags of your own and write down in the comment box. I shall check your question tags, and if I see your question tags are correct, I shall give you a like. Yeah, but in return, I'm not expecting any like from you, because I know very well that it is useless for me to tell you to give me a like. If you do not like, you will not give me a like. That goes without saying. So if you like the video, please give me a like. If you like the video, please, those of you who have not yet subscribed or who are not yet able to decide whether you should subscribe to this channel or not, please do subscribe. Without your subscription, it is very difficult for us. A subscription by you is a huge inspiration for me. Remember that. Okay? See you again in the next session, next video session. So long.